Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
For the first time, the alleged victim of Seventh Heaven star Stephen Collins is breaking her silence in an on-camera interview.
Investigators are looking for new leads in the search for a missing college student. Right now, they're working on an arrest sketch of a possible suspect.
More fallout for the deadly police shooting in Ferguson, Missouri. The police chief resigns after a scathing report by the Justice Department. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Ruta Shabazi in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. We begin with the explosive new interview with Stephen Collins' alleged victim. She says the actor, famous for playing a pastor and a loving family man on TV, stole her innocence when she was only 13. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter has more.
April Price, who talked exclusively with DailyMail.com, was just 13 years old when she says actor Stephen Collins,
love you too, kiddo,
best known for his role as a father and pastor on Seventh Heaven, traumatized her.
When he turned around, his pants were completely unfastened, and I'm just shocked.
Price says Collins exposed himself to her on 3 occasions while she was visiting her aunt, who lived in the same Los Angeles apartment complex as Collins. The mother of 4 says the first time he walked naked through the courtyard. During the second encounter, she says he exposed himself while he was helping hook up her video game in her aunt's apartment. According to Price, the third encounter occurred in Collins' apartment when he invited her over to see some of his memorabilia. She says he walked into the living room completely naked. The 67-year-old has allegedly admitted to sexual misconduct with underage girls in a secret audio recording.
There were, I think, there were like 3 incidents over about 3 years.
Price says her traumatic encounters with Collins affected her for the rest of her life.
Honestly, up until this point, I'm 13. I've never even kissed a boy. This is not something that I was even prepared to deal with.
Price, who ended up working in Hollywood, says she ran into Collins in the late 90s on the set of a commercial. She says he apologized for what he did, saying it was extremely wrong. Price says she feels tremendous guilt since she knows there were other victims. In the newsroom, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good news in the search for 2 women who got lost during a hike in Corona. They are home safe with their families tonight. 22-year-old Amanda Sanchez and 23-year-old Jasmine Jackson made it back to the trailhead on Skyline Drive at around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Their families became concerned when they didn't come home last night and couldn't be reached on their cell phones. It was Sanchez's father who found them near a mine shaft. Other than some dehydration, both women appeared to be okay. Meantime, crews continue to search for a missing art student in San Bernardino. 22-year-old Saray Barber failed to show up at her job on Monday, and investigators say it's unlike her to simply disappear. However, they cannot confirm there was any foul play involved. Her cell phone and laptop were found in some bushes at her apartment complex. That complex is across the street from Cal State San Bernardino, where in less than a week, 2 female students were attacked. Today, the university released this sketch of a suspect they believe is responsible for both attacks. So far, police have not connected that suspect to Barber's disappearance.
The search continues for a man who allegedly tried to run over a U.S. Marshal. Deputies tried to take into custody Keith Smith, who was wanted for a probation violation on a drug charge. They attempted to stop his vehicle in Carson, but they say Smith tried to run over the deputy marshal. Authorities fired at the suspect, but he was able to get away. It's unknown if he was wounded. No law enforcement was hurt during the shooting.
An update to a story we first brought you yesterday in Eyewitness News. Today we are hearing from some of the mothers suing an Agoura Hills daycare center, claiming employees were disciplining their children by pushing push pins into their legs. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes reports the mothers hope their lawsuit protects other children.
Tutor time in Agoura Hills is a place where parents entrust their children to the staff. But some parents are accusing former tutor time workers of a shocking form of discipline.
Pica, 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 pica.
Pica pica is Spanish for poke poke. And these mothers say that tutor time daycare workers were using these push pins on 2-year-olds.
I said, why didn't you tell me? And he said because they would hide it in their pocket and tap on it to remind them that it was a secret. And if they told the parents, they would get hurt.
The parents are only using their first names in order to protect the identities of their children. 4 families are now suing Tutor Time, accusing the franchise of assault and battery, failure to report abuse, and other offenses.
How did I not see this? How did I not see that anything was going on? I would take them to school, and I've never seen them throw such a fit, just screaming, crying. I felt like they were being tortured.
The two daycare workers accused of the abuse no longer work at Tutor Time, which is a national chain of learning centers. The company denied our request for an interview, but did issue a written statement yesterday saying it works hard to ensure children's well-being. Quote, "We train our employees regularly and emphasize the use of our positive guidance policy for behavior management." End quote. The LA County Department of Social Services is investigating Tutor Time. In the meantime, the parents involved in this lawsuit hope this will keep any other kids from having to go through the very unwanted practice of pika-pika.
I want to make sure that those two teachers never work in another child care ever again, can never do this to children again. I want my son to one day say, "Thank you, Mommy, that we stopped them from hurting any other children."
In Westwood, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
At least 5 Chatsworth High School students are sick after eating tainted candy at school today. The LAUSD tells Eyewitness News that one student brought the candy to school and shared it with his friends. The district says the illnesses appear to be caused by a type of food poisoning. 3 of the students were taken to the hospital. 2 others were picked up by their parents. The LA School Police Department is now investigating.
Now is your chance to help bring the Chargers and the Raiders back to the LA area. A petition drive kicks off tomorrow for that proposed NFL stadium in Carson. Roughly 8,000 signatures are needed to qualify for a ballot measure. The Raiders and Chargers are planning a shared stadium in Carson if both teams fail to get new stadiums in their current hometowns. Meanwhile, people in San Diego who want to keep the Chargers there are expected to announce a new plan of their own tomorrow to build a new stadium in that city's Mission Valley neighborhood.
All right, let's talk about our weather. We had clouds all day, even some sprinkles. Here's Jonathan Novak.
Yeah, David, folks, even a little bit of light snow blowing through the Angeles National Forest here in our time lapse from earlier on. Today was the exception to what will be pretty much the rule, hot weather going into the forecast. But for right now, let's focus in on some light showers still hanging on around the area. There's a little bit of actually some light snow right there just south of Big Bear Lake. Otherwise, it's light rain around from Big Bear over to Wrightwood down to Mount Baldy. Nothing too significant. I've seen some traces picked up today, maybe slightly more than that in some isolated spots. Long Beach, Redondo Beach, Anaheim, Corona, all showing that we have some light rain showing up on those echoes on the Line Megadoppler 7000 HD. This is going to get out of here tonight, and then we start focusing in on the hot weather, record temps in your 7-day forecast. Details ahead.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. The police chief in Ferguson, Missouri stepped down today, resigning in the wake of a scathing Justice Department report. The city released a statement saying it has reached a mutual separation agreement with Chief Thomas Jackson. Jackson had previously resisted calls for his resignation over his handling of the August shooting of Michael Brown and the violent protests that followed. The Justice Department report found widespread racial bias in the department. Jackson will receive a severance payment and a year of health insurance. An acting chief will take over as the city searches for his replacement.
Fog that may have caused the Louisiana National Guard helicopter to crash hampered search and rescue efforts today. 4 guardsmen and 7 Marines are presumed dead. ABC's Marcia Gonzalez reports a helicopter was on a night training mission off the coast of Florida when another Black Hawk turned back because of the bad weather.
All 11 troops who were on board the Black Hawk helicopter when it crashed are presumed dead, but search teams are not giving up hope, spending the day fighting the fog, scouring the waters and the coastline along the Florida Panhandle.
We have found some remains and also aircraft parts, but we are still in search and rescue mode.
The 7 Marines and 4 soldiers took off in the darkness from Eglin Air Force Base near Pensacola last night, taking part in a special ops training exercise when their helicopter disappeared around 8:30 p.m. It wasn't until hours later that search teams found the first pieces of debris.
A reminder to us that those who serve put themselves at risk both in training and in combat.
The Marines on board were from Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, the Army pilots and crew from the National Guard unit in Hammond, Louisiana.
The entire crew had several thousand hours of operation flying the Black Hawk.
The military still not releasing their names.
The President expressed his condolences to the families, fellow service members, and communities. The President also expressed confidence that there would be a detailed and thorough investigation into this incident and what caused it.
Pentagon officials say last night's fog may have played a role. It was so bad, a military spokesperson says before the crash, a second Black Hawk backed out of the training exercise and returned to base. In Washington, Marcy Gonzalez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
ISIS has executed another hostage. The new video is too graphic to show on television. It shows this man, Mohammed Saeed Ismail Musalem. ISIS claims he was an Israeli spy. In the video, a child executes him. Meantime, the U.S. is worried about what happens after ISIS is defeated. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff told a Senate committee today there is concern that Shiite militiamen will turn against Sunni Iraqis, further destabilizing the country.
In the wake of the Hillary Clinton email controversy, the Associated Press is suing the U.S. State Department in an attempt to force the release of those documents. The AP has made multiple requests for the emails under the Freedom of Information Act. The first was filed back in 2010. So far, none of them have been fulfilled. The State Department says it does plan to allow public access to the documents, but only after they have been reviewed, a process that will likely take months.
Ahead on Eyewitness News, could your smartphone be making you dumber? We'll have the answer.
And a woman is shot and left for dead, but manages to escape to get help. How she did it, straight ahead.
Plus, a suspect in handcuffs steals a cruiser and leads an officer on a chase, and then decides to talk once he's back in custody. What he had to say coming up.
A Georgia woman survives being shot, stuffed in the trunk of a car, and then left for dead. Police say Sandra and Timothy Williams, who are not related to each other, gave a co-worker, Leon Pugh, a ride home one night. Police say Pugh shot and killed Timothy Williams and then shot and critically injured Sandra Williams, locking her in the trunk. Police explain how she got out.
And in it had one of the child safety pull releases that are installed in vehicles now. So she was able to locate that handle and get it pulled, which popped the trunk and allowed her to escape.
But despite being shot 3 times, she made it out of the woods where the car was left and went to get help. She's hospitalized in critical condition. Pugh is under arrest. So far, no word on a motive.
Anger spills over at a school board meeting in New York. The outburst stemmed from a violent brawl between two rival groups of students over the weekend. Some students even needed surgery for their injuries. Parents say tensions between the two groups have been rising since September and that the school has done nothing to stop it. The district says it has made parents aware of the problems and that those involved have been suspended.
It was the first day back at work for San Diego TV sportscaster Kyle Kraska. Kraska was shot 6 times outside his home in Scripps Ranch a month ago. Prosecutors say it was sparked by a dispute with a painter over work done on Kraska's home. He underwent multiple surgeries after suffering wounds to his stomach, chest, and limbs. Mike Montana was arrested at his El Cajon home 7 hours after the shooting. He's pleaded not guilty to attempted murder. His bail is set at $750,000.
All right, switching gears now. We have a hot weekend coming up. Record-breaking, possibly,
right?
There
you go, yeah. 90, 95.
Wow.
Sound about comfortable to you for Saturday, Sunday?
And it's still winter,
and
technically.
That's amazing that we can say that. We had some snow in the mountains today, some light snow, and then by Friday, we're in the 90s? I thought New England's supposed to have this kind of weather. I'm back home in New England. But no, we cram all the seasons into 1 week here in Southern California. This is a shot from Malibu, our time-lapse showing the cloudy skies today. A weak front washing out over the area, bringing a few showers. In fact, we still have a little bit of light rain in Southern California. Let's check out that live Megadoppler 7000 HD to show you some of the current images here. The echoes showing up around Big Bear Lake, even a little bit of light snow. I had mentioned that, showing up just south that area in the mountains there around Big Bear Lake. And then over to the west, Wrightwood, Mount Baldy, down to Crestline, some light shower activity. This batch here has been kind of hanging on for a little while. And south of you, we see Long Beach as well, seeing some light shower activity. It's kind of breaking up here actually over the last 20 minutes or so. But this is kind of what we can expect from about, we were looking at right now to the southeast, maybe a light shower tonight, and then the rain is out of the picture. We start looking to the temperatures, which are going to soar come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Downtown right now, 72. That's above our normal afternoon high temperature. Can you believe that? And temperatures across the area are very similar. 70 in Santa Monica, 71 in Burbank, 72 in Temecula. Palm Springs is still 80 degrees. How much warmer are we than this time last night? Cooler, I should say. Quite a bit. 12 degrees cooler in Palmdale than it was this time last night. 13 degrees cooler in Victorville. About 5 or 6 degrees cooler from Burbank to Ontario and Fullerton. Just to show you that we are cooler now as we go through tomorrow. These numbers are completely out of the picture. We go in the opposite direction as high pressure builds in. So you can actually see this front right here just washing out over the state. And we're picking up just a little bit of that tail end of the precip with that. Up to the north is that low with it pulling it away. Now, to the west of it is high pressure that will build in over California, and it is going to bear down on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For Thursday, we start the warm-up into the 80s, and then by Friday, we're into the 90s, and then Saturday and Sunday are going to be the hottest days, especially Sunday, and even into Monday, we're going to hang on to those temperatures right around the upper 80s and 90s in some spots, and next week, finally, by the end of the forecast, you'll see the bit of a cool down. But for tomorrow, starting to warm up quite a bit. 86 in Los Angeles, much warmer than it was today. This is going to be a quick warm-up. Santa Ana's blowing 30 to 40 the next couple of days. Look at Friday through Sunday, 90, 92, 92, back to 90 on Monday, and we finally get down to the 70s by next Wednesday. No rain, plenty of sun in the forecast. This is kind of weather, guys, where you're not expecting to have a really toasty forecast, temperatures in the 90s this weekend, so you might not be aware of that and just try to be, keep the water handy and just be aware this is dangerous heat. 80s in the beach from Friday through Sunday, 84 in fact for the weekend, and then the mountains are into the 60s for most of that stretch. Breezy as well with those Santa Anas in the high desert, reaching 80 by Saturday, 82 on Sunday. It's hot stuff, guys. We'll have more coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
A handcuffed suspect is back in custody after he managed to steal a CHP vehicle. Eyewitness News reporter Christina Salvo explains how he did it and what the suspect is saying about what happened.
This is the suspect that, on his own admission, stole a CHP vehicle.
Well, I'm scared, and I didn't want to go to jail. That's pretty much it. That was it? Yep.
The officer had just arrested 25-year-old Aaron Taruya on suspicion of DUI after he crashed his car into another driver on the Interstate 15. The officer handcuffed him and put him in the CHP's SUV. When Taruya says he passed his cuffed hands from behind his back up around his legs and climbed into the driver's seat.
I just put the cuffs in front of me and I got it all in front, put it in gear. And then the next thing you know, I was driving.
The officer, who was talking to the other driver, then flags down a tow truck driver arriving on the scene, jumps in the truck, and has the driver try to chase Taruya down.
The CHP vehicle was eventually located. through a GPS signal, and it was abandoned.
Taruya had crashed the CHP SUV into stick brush and took off. About an hour and a half later, police find him hiding in stick brush and re-arrest him.
That's under investigation right now. They're trying to determine how Aaron was able to get in the driver's seat of the CHP patrol vehicle.
In Temecula, Christina Salvo, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Investigators say they are looking into reports that Taruya was put in the front seat of the CHP cruiser when he was initially arrested. He now faces several charges, including DUI, vehicle theft, and resisting arrest.
Apple has restored service to its popular iTunes and App stores after a rare breakdown today. The outage affected the iPhone and iPad maker for more than 5 hours. Apple blamed the problem on an internal error that bogged down its computer servers. The iCloud backup service and iBooks were also down. Without the ability to make purchases or update apps, customers took to social media to vent. No doubt it was a costly error, with Apple and app developers losing millions of dollars. And call it the Apple effect. Turns out it pays to have an Apple store at your local shopping mall. A research firm says malls that have Apple stores enjoy 10% higher sales numbers than those without them. And since Apple helps the bottom line for everyone else, the company is reportedly able to negotiate better lease terms than other stores at the mall.
Is using your smartphone making you dumber? Researchers say there's a link between using phones and lazy thinking. 3 studies at Canada's University of Waterloo looked at how people use phone search engines. They found more cognitive thinkers who liked analysis searched on their phones less. Those who rely more on gut feelings to make decisions were more likely to look up info that they might already know or could learn, making them lazier. I see Jonathan's looking something up right now. The good news is, looking at Facebook or YouTube doesn't indicate higher or lower levels of thinking.
Ahead on Eyewitness News, an update on the baby who survived being submerged in a car for more than 12 hours.
And a reporter is robbed seconds before going live, and it's all caught on camera, and what he says was going through his mind at the time.
Plus, a father caught on camera trying to take his newborn baby out of the hospital in a shopping bag. Why he's trying to get away so quickly.
A TV reporter is robbed at gunpoint just seconds away from going live on the air, and it was all caught on camera. The news camera rolled as two men accosted Mvuyo Mvoko on a street in Johannesburg, South Africa. And while you don't see it on the video, he says one of the men threatened him with a gun. In the end, they got away with several cell phones and a laptop computer.
We went to sort of call the police because remember we still had equipment lying around there because we didn't know whether someone's going to come back, take the cameras and everything else that they had left behind.
The men did not come back. They ran away, but they left behind some very useful evidence, both of their faces, clearly visible on the video. Shocking video out of Arizona captures a man sneaking his newborn baby out of the hospital in a plastic bag. Take a look. Glendale, Arizona police say that's 33-year-old Jason Bristol trying to leave the hospital through the emergency exit. A staff member appears and tells him to use the main exit, not knowing his 2-day-old girl is between towels in his plastic bag. She was born with meth, marijuana, and morphine in her system, and the state was about to take her away. Bristol made it out, but was later arrested. Child Services took custody of the baby.
And good news for the miracle baby who survived more than 12 hours submerged in a car. She's been released from the hospital. 18-year-old Lily Grossbeck was rescued after the car she was in plunged off a bridge in Utah over the weekend. Incredibly, little Lily survived 13 hours of being submerged in 40-degree water. The girl's mother, 25-year-old Jennifer Grossbeck, says she was killed in the crash. The baby is now home with her father and the rest of the family.
We are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30, including more on what the alleged victim of actor Stephen Collins is saying.
And the multi-million-dollar Blurred Lines verdict has many musicians worried that their creative process will be hurt in a huge way. We'll talk with some of them ahead. Plus this.
Never in my life I thought I was going to do something like this.
There you have to see this when a naked man crashes into a minivan and attacks another car. It's all caught on camera.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30, we're now hearing from the alleged victim of actor Stephen Collins in an explosive new interview. I'm Rudabe Shabazi, in for Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ona. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7:30. April Price, who spoke exclusively with DailyMail.com, says the actor, famous for playing a pastor and loving family man on TV, stole her innocence when she was just 13 years old. Price says Collins exposed himself to her on 3 occasions while she was visiting her aunt, who lived in the same Los Angeles apartment complex as Collins. The 67-year-old Collins has allegedly admitted to sexual misconduct with underage girls in a secret audio recording.
2 women who got lost on a hike and spent the night in the wilderness in Corona are home safe. Here you see the moment they were reunited with their families. 22-year-old Amanda Sanchez's father found her and her friend, 23-year-old Jasmine Jackson, near a mine shaft today. Police say the 2 suffered mild dehydration but were not hurt. Their families got worried last night when they didn't return home and couldn't be reached on their cell phones.
The jury's decision to side with the family of Marvin Gaye, awarding them millions of dollars in a copyright lawsuit, is already catching the attention of other artists and music executives. Eyewitness News reporter Robert Olguin takes a look at the impact the blurred lines verdict could have on the future of songwriting.
Marvin Gaye's family rejoiced after a jury awarded them $7.4 million in their copyright claim against Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke. But for many in the music industry, the verdict sets a terrible precedent.
I'm actually rather shocked.
Paul Young is a professor at USC's Thornton School of Music and is a former executive at Universal Music Group.
I tend to think that this is not a good precedent for the business, for future songwriters, record producers, label execs.
Young says sounding like someone isn't the same thing as stealing someone's composition.
This is about the feel or the vibe or the groove.
But on Tuesday, a jury found that Williams and Thicke based their mega hit Blurred Lines on Gaye's 1977 hit Got to Give It Up.
Well, that's a fine line right there.
Money Mark is a producer, recording artist, and a former member of the Beastie Boys. He says musicians typically try to build on their influences while respecting certain boundaries.
I really believe that, that art and music, especially like how it evolves, you borrow, you get influenced by something, and you incorporate it into your own sound.
In court, the attorney for Gaye's family argued that Williams and Thicke purposely set out to steal the essence of Gaye's 1977 hit, even if the songs didn't necessarily share the exact same melody or lyrics.
To me, it was way too broad.
Scott Eric Olivier is a local producer and musician who's worked with acts like Gwen Stefani and Michael Jackson.
To be able to say this is a direct ownership of a beat or a rhythm, I think is a little treacherous legally.
The attorney for Williams and Thicke says he owes it to his clients to appeal the jury's verdict. But the attorney for Gaye's family says that the verdict will not cripple creativity or harm the record industry.
The world is not coming to an end, and we will all go on, and the music industry will go on.
Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Police have released surveillance video after a deadly hit-and-run in the University Park area of South LA. The video shows the victim approaching and entering a crosswalk at the corner of West 23rd and Portland Streets last night. A black sedan approaches and hits the man. We're not showing you that part of the video. The victim is identified as 58-year-old Elias Aceves. The car raced away. Investigators believe the vehicle has front-end damage and a broken windshield.
Terrifying moments last night for a 12-year-old Palmdale girl. She was home alone with her little sister when an intruder suddenly broke in. And you can see the broken window screen at the home along the 4200 block of Sorrel Avenue. Sheriff's deputies say the 12-year-old was startled awake at about 1 o'clock in the morning by someone walking around inside the home. She grabbed a knife, ran out the front door to a neighbor's home, and pounded on their front door.
She was standing in front of my front door with a knife in her hand and crying hysterically, saying that somebody broke into her house, if I could help her.
Police found the girl's 3-year-old sister unharmed, but say the burglar had taken off. The home was ransacked. The mother apparently left the children alone while she was at work.
In Anaheim, it's not your typical vandalism case. A man was arrested for smashing the back window of a parked car, plus a few other things, and police say he was naked when he did it. Eyewitness News Orange County reporter Greg Lee has the stunning surveillance video.
Watch the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. This surveillance video shows a naked man sprinting and throwing himself into the back window of a parked van. It happened Saturday night around 11:30 at an apartment complex in Anaheim. Charlie Barnes owns the van. He couldn't believe it.
And I actually saw flesh on the window area, so I figured, she probably wasn't lying.
Then a panicked driver in the car next to the van speeds in reverse, hitting a fence. The man jumps on top of the car, leading the driver to speed forward, bumping the van and sending the man flying. The driver, Clarissa Vidrio, came to a stop after slamming into this wall.
Honestly, thought I was dead. I was going to die that night.
Officers say 21-year-old Garrett Smith from Riverside ran about a mile away from the complex before he was arrested. Vidrio says she was just trying to get away from him. Her car's totaled, but that's not what bothers her the most.
It's hard for me to come outside at night like the way I used to. I need someone to come with me.
While the overnight security guard begins to save for a new car, she wants justice for the man who caused all of this damage.
Hopefully you get what you deserve, because you really, you scarred me.
Smith was initially arrested for vandalism, resisting arrest, and being under the influence. He was released pending the results of a toxicology test. He was treated and released at UCI Medical Center yesterday. Reporting in Anaheim, Greg Lee, ABC7, Eyewitness News.
Major decision on the Common Core tests that have angered some parents and teachers. Today, the California Board of Education suspended the state's school accountability system for 1 year, allowing more time for teachers and students to adjust to the new standardized test. The board voted today not to produce an academic performance index for this school year because the new tests are too different from the previous ones. While Common Core sets a national standard, critics say the exams distract from real learning and put added stress on students and staff.
A protest tonight outside the Dallas home of a former University of Oklahoma fraternity member accused of engaging in a racist chant. Meantime, 2 members of the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity are apologizing for their actions. Parker Rice says he made a horrible mistake and believes alcohol may have fueled his bad decision-making. Rice was expelled from the university yesterday. Matt Lopez was his roommate.
I know Parker, and I know he's not a racist.
The parents of one of the other students accused of being in the video say their son is not a racist. Meantime, the president of the University of Texas says he's looking into reports that the SAE chapter there used the exact same chant.
The chief of MIT police testified that he warned an officer to be safe about an hour before prosecutors say he was killed by the Boston Marathon bombers. John DeFava testified today saying he briefly spoke to Officer Sean Collier the night he was killed. Prosecutors say Johar Shanayev and his brother shot Collier while trying to steal his gun during a getaway attempt. Sanayev's lawyer told the jury it was his client's brother who shot Collier. Sanayev is accused of killing 3 people and injuring more than 260 others.
Rapper Lil Wayne is the latest victim of a swatting incident. Police and SWAT responded to his waterfront home in Miami Beach, Florida today for a report of a shooting. The caller claimed 4 people had been shot. Authorities found no victims and no gunmen. Lil Wayne, whose real name is Dwayne Michael Carter, was not home at the time. He was at a recording studio when the incident happened. He later tweeted that it had been a prank call.
An update on that giant green pig that was stolen before the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Tonight, the piggy is back. We'll tell you how Shamhawk was found.
And the most depressing Starbucks in the nation got a much-needed remodel, and we'll show you the changes.
Coffee shop can't be depressing. All right, folks, Long Beach show in the clouds is still out there tonight, but we're going to clear them out and bump those temperatures up to records by this weekend. Details ahead in your 7-day forecast.
A happy ending to the search for Shamhawk, the beloved green inflatable pig of Ventura County. He's been located safe and sound. Shamhawk is a star attraction of the county's annual St. Patrick's Day parade, but as we reported last week, he vanished. Well, an anonymous tip led to a crate on a street near the 101 in Ventura, and there he was, just in time for this weekend's parade. As for where he's been for the past few days and with whom, that remains a mystery.
The local Starbucks store, named the most depressing in the country, got a much-needed makeover. So will the remodel make customers happier? Eyewitness News reporter Mark Robles shows you how the coffee shop in LA's Garvanza neighborhood looks now.
With its brown stucco walls, tiny windows, and concrete tables, this coffee shop in the Garvanza area of Highland Park was dubbed by some as the most depressing Starbucks in America.
I really didn't like it, and it just seemed too crowded. It seemed too small.
But that was 7 months ago. This is today.
When we pulled in, I thought this was the best looking Starbucks I've ever been to.
The York Boulevard location underwent a big remodel and reopened at 5 this morning.
Now, I mean, wow. I'm really impressed.
Now it looks better, a lot better than it did before.
It's a remodel that took less than a month, fueled by customer complaints. Today, baristas are busy, and the reviews are pouring in.
I think it has a lot to do with the lighting, with the outside, the patio.
I like the mural on the wall here. It's kind of period for Highland Park.
We were commenting on the beautiful wood up top.
Also less depressing are the side windows, which are now much larger and less jail-like than before. And wait for this. It's also the door. Pretty neat, huh?
This made us happy this morning. Very, very happy.
I think what we got today is a space that they all can be proud of.
A Starbucks manager calls it an alfresco experience and says the company is always open to feedback. In fact, some customers think that this place could now be a model for other locations.
It'd be great to have down by the beach, too.
As for the coffee,
I love it. This is something that wakes you up.
That has never changed.
Oh my God, not having my Starbucks coffee. That makes me depressed.
Reporting from the Garvanza area near Highland Park, I'm Mark Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Ahead on Eyewitness News, we'll tell you what's being done to protect runners in this weekend's LA Marathon with record heat in the forecast.
Fashion is going high-tech on several levels, from high-tech clothes and accessories to using technology to find the best look for you. Fashion is getting smarter, and we'll tell you about the latest gadgets and the apps.
And boxing legends Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao come to Los Angeles in their one and only combined news conference prior to their May 2nd fight in Las Vegas. With record heat in the forecast, LA Marathon organizers are taking steps to keep all of the runners safe this weekend. For starters, they've moved up the race time half an hour earlier to begin at 6:55 a.m. 24 aid stations will also be set up starting at mile 2. That's where runners will find both water and Gatorade for electrolytes. Organizers say runners should also look for spray stations along the route to help them cool down.
Well, let's talk to Jonathan Novak right now about our weather, because a lot of concerns now with the LA Marathon this weekend and this crazy hot weather hitting us.
Insane
bad
heat.
timing.
Yeah, really bad timing, and it's even worse because you don't expect it. You know, it's March, 95 degrees in some spots expected by Sunday. We're going to get to the details here momentarily, but first I've got some cool images shot by none other than our own Mike Gilbert here. Yeah, very nice shots from Death Valley. This was Monday night before those clouds rolled in Tuesday into today. And what an awesome shot out there. Where was it exactly? You were at? Owl's Head Mountains. Okay, Owl's Head Mountains. Very nice. Okay, so that's an old communications tower of sorts that's not functional anymore, but what a nice shot. And that's with what kind of camera? SLR camera. Nice. Better than I could do. You know it. All right. Live Make It Off with 7000 HD. Thanks, Mike. And if you got any pictures, you can always send those in. Showing we got some showers out there on that scope. Even some snow, some light snow showing up just south around the Big Bear area and around San Bernardino. It's light rain over to the south and southwest. We've had showers that have been breaking up. Around Corona, actually, things are dry now. Just a little while ago, you had some light rain. So things are looking like they're improving for tonight. If you consider that improvement, then you've got that. 71 was our high today in downtown. Much different than yesterday. We were in the lower 80s yesterday. Today, lower 70s. Tomorrow, mid-80s. A huge jump already tomorrow in the high temperatures. It is 72 in downtown, 71 in Burbank. A very warm evening, 65 in Oxnard. By the way, those numbers are above average for the afternoon highs. And we're there right now. 80 in Palm Springs, 69 in Santa Ana. So we had a weak front that just washed out over the area. That's where we're getting some of that light rain for tonight. Just a few sprinkles to maybe some light showers through the evening in the mountain areas and the southeast portions of our area. And then we see high pressure building on the west side of that front for tomorrow and for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday especially. And that means 90s in the forecast. For tonight, an isolated shower is possible. Temperatures way above average. We're looking for 55 at the coast. And then tomorrow's high, 86 in Los Angeles, is again way above average. And that's nothing, folks. We got 90s in store for Friday. You'll see that right here in that 7-day forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. 92 on Saturday and Sunday. These are Santa Ana winds, so it's going to be a little breezy Thursday, Friday. Nothing that's going to be, I don't think, in advisory levels, but for now, it is just the heat you want to focus on this weekend. Keep the water around. You're heading out. You do your activities. Just try to stay hydrated, the most important thing there. 90 to 92 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the valleys and the IE. The beach even getting into the mid-80s. Talk about beach weather in March. I mean, it's fantastic stuff, but we need some shower activities just not happening here. In fact, it's the quite opposite type of forecast. The mountains are into the 60s for 5 of the 7 days from Friday through Tuesday. Hardly a cloud, a little breezy in the passes and the canyons, and then that high desert forecast climbing up to the upper 70s into the lower 80s in your 7-day. It is going to be hot, and that is going to be the word for most of the forecast. Now, next Wednesday, we'll start warming up just a little bit, but that is the best. Or cooling down, I should say, just a little bit, but that's the best I can do for you. Let's transition just a little bit. It is Fashion Week in Los Angeles. You know, I realized that my catwalk strut might be a little rusty. So I went and found some awesome apps like Pose here, where you upload a look and you get feedback, and some gizmos to make them all gawk when you're walking the runway. Check it out. Not all of us can be world-famous supermodels. It's possible, but with some tech-inspired fashion, you're sure to turn heads. For the everyday man or woman with a dead phone or tablet, the Switch Solar Bag from Voltaic uses solar panels to power up your device and give a charge to your style. Feel the burn without frying your fashion. Sensoria's Bluetooth-enabled smart sock is like a personal running coach. Its pressure sensors and anklet read your speed and distance, as shown on its website. And the new Metrics Tech Fit shirt will win your heart and monitor it when you practice your catwalk. And go from sham to glam. Sun-activated garments by Rainbow Winters change color when in sunlight. You can see white in the shade changes to pink in the sun in this petal dress. No, you're not going to put that on. No budget for beauty? It's okay. Use the app Closet Space to upload and organize your wardrobe and get style ideas from the pros like celebrity stylist Allie Levine.
Technology and fashion have become like hand in hand nowadays.
Allie's helping me find a blazer for that shirt. We're using an app called The Hunt where fellow fashionistas help you find pieces for your wardrobe.
And they're going to tell you how to get it, where to buy it.
Now that I've got my look, I can post it on Pose and let the compliments roll in. You know, it takes time. I still haven't gotten them.
No compliments? What?
If you go to my Facebook page, ABC7 Jonathan, that's my name. What's my name? Facebook.com/ABC7 Jonathan. I've got a video up there. You can really see that dress. It changes color. It's amazing. It responds to UV light, and it's a fabric from this company in the UK. And it's amazing what they do. And remember that we just had that story about the blue and black and the gold. The same kind of idea. So it's interesting to see that now we started setting that up before that whole story was around. This company actually makes that kind of a fabric that changes as you move. And a lot of the other items are actually on our website directly. You can get links to any of those to kind of see if you want to have a sock that tells you how fast you're running.
Cute.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Adorable story.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks. Floyd Mayweather hasn't knocked out an opponent since 2011, but it's reported he knocked out a sparring partner at a recent training session. Meanwhile, Manny Pacquiao says Ronda Rousey can beat Money in an MMA fight. Today, both were in Los Angeles to hype up their May 2nd bout, and our Kurt Sandoval was there.
It's not very often you can say, I covered the press conference for the fight of the century. Staggering, a record 600 people were credentialed for the red carpet today. They expect pay-per-view revenue to exceed over $300 million. But for Manny Pacquiao, it's about one thing, doing what no one else has done, beat Floyd Mayweather.
I will do my best in training. I'm not worried about his style. I think double our intensity in training.
And the time is right. And 2 times before, I was in the biggest fight in the history of the sport. And I broke my record. And hopefully I can break my record again.
I'm making a lot of money in the fight, man. We negotiated our deal. He told me what I'm making in the fight. It's more money than I ever saw in my life.
And speaking of big bucks, tickets start at $1,500. And if you want to sit close, you can shell out $7,500 per seat. From Staples Center, Kurt Sandoval, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A picture of a massive alligator roaming a golf course in Florida has gone viral. 2 golfers posted the picture to the club's Facebook page, and it's gotten hundreds of thousands of views in just a few days. In its 37 years of operation, the course has never had an incident between a golfer and a gator. Golfers are told not to feed the gators and not to try to retrieve balls from the water. That probably goes without saying after you see that picture.
That's another one of those that looks photoshopped almost. It's so surreal. It's huge.
I believe it.
All right. Well, more news straight ahead here at 7:30. And ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Lucky winner or biggest loser? This man has less than 24 hours to claim his Powerball prize, but where is he? Plus, just add water, the controversial new booze you can brew yourself, but is it safe? These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Fossils of an ancient sea creature found in Morocco are shedding new clues about how animals like lobsters develop their claws. This is a rendering of the strange-looking 7-foot-long creature. It lived nearly 500 million years ago, and you can see it has 2 rows of flaps that were precursors to the limbs we see in modern marine life. Researchers at Yale and Oxford universities reported the discovery in a paper released today by the journal Nature.
Disneyland is announcing plans for its big 60th anniversary celebration. It will begin with another 24-hour event when the park will be open from 6 a.m. Friday, May 22nd through 6 a.m. Saturday, the 23rd. Also beginning on May 22nd, the new Paint the Night Parade, an after-dark extravaganza featuring 1.5 million LED lights. And there will also be new fireworks shows, plus a new World of Color water show starring Neil Patrick Harris and, of course, Mickey Mouse. Disney is the parent company of ABC7.
And thank you for joining us. Robert D'Souza at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7. Have a great night.
Good night.